Hi, welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm working on Scraplift Crafternoon. This is a weekly hop where my Scraplift Crafternoon tribe and I choose a layout, get the creator's permission to scraplift it, and we all do our take on it. Some of us go rogue, some of us copy it exactly, some of us just take inspiration, and all of those things are a-okay. So today we are scraplifting Tina. I will have her layout up here in the corner for you, as well as her information down below so that you can view her Instagram channel, leave her some love, and check out all the wonderful goodness she has on that account. I apologize for the very loud airplane outside my window. We live both near a military base and an airport. Both are about 18 minutes from my front door. So I decided to fly over my house at this point. So I have a photo of Jasper in 2016 when he was a kitten. And if I could angle the camera towards you, he is supervising on the other side of the table to make sure that I get his best side on this layout. Anyway, I have some Freckled Fawn product here. I've got puffy hearts. I've got two alphas. I've got chipboard. I've got some wood veneer, chipboard phrases, some other washi strips, a full piece of 12 by 12 paper, and a whole bunch of 6 by 8 papers for me to choose from. I chose this particular set because it has kitty cats on it, and since I'm doing a kitty cat layout, I thought that would be wise. I also have some color cast designs, wood veneer, and a title piece, plus some illustrated faith embellishments that my friend Deb gifted to me when she came over to scrapbook at my house. I also have a banner punch and my notebook border punch. So I'm going to pause, we're going to get started, and I will be right back.
So off camera, I went ahead and used my Cameo and I cut these circles from two of the pattern papers. They are 6 by 8 pattern papers, so the circle is at its widest point on the upper one is right at 8 inches, just a little bit less than, and I think it was like a 7.59 inch circle or something like that. And then the other one is just the same circle. I just cut less of it. I am going to use the banner punch, and I blame this on being left-handed. May not be because I'm left-handed, but I always turn the punches upside down when I punch with them, because even though there's a guide on the top for these border punches, I find that I just don't get them straight unless I turn it upside down and watch myself punch it. So I always blame it on being left-handed. That may not be what it is. So I'm going to take this other blue-ish color here, and I'm going to cut just a little tiny bit with a border punch. This piece is going to go behind the photo. The original layout has that as well. I actually almost missed it when I first looked at the layout, so I was kind of glad that I caught it. And I'm just going to trim off that bottom and set all of the pattern papers aside. I'm going to check placement, and I'm going to glue it down here shortly. Now I will be doing the stitching that is on the original layout. I will be doing that stitching off camera, and I will be doing hand stitching, not machine stitching like the original creator did. I am too lazy to get out my sewing machine. It is not out where I can access it, and so I just don't drag it out. So the photo is going to kind of go right there. And at first I thought I was going to use these two top labels for some journaling, but then my friend showed me how to use Canva to create journaling, and so I'm going to do that instead because the original layout has printed journaling on it as well. I'll just set these labels aside and use them for another time. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to make my banner. At first I cut a 2.5 inch banner. I punch it upside down, and then when I got to looking at it, I realized it was actually too wide anyway, so I just recut it, and I'll save that banner for another layout, or I'll cut off the fishtail piece and do something else. Yep, see, that's where I went, oh, that's just too wide. So now I'm going to cut this remaining piece in half ish, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use my banner punch, and I will use it, both of these pieces here, and I will glue them down. You'll see here in a minute that it hangs off the edge of my paper, but I'll just trim it off, and then when I put the journaling block and embellishments over there, you won't even know that I've pieced two pieces together. So right now I'm just basically getting my base page on here so that I know where everything's going to lay on the layout before I shut the camera off to do some stitching. So here is me just kind of getting it on here. Now I'm going to add the other piece here. I'm going to make sure it's as straight as possible. And so as you see, that just kind of hangs right there off the top. So I'm going to trim off the edge. Now, the background piece did not come from the same Freckled Fawn collection, but it is a Freckled Fawn pattern paper just from another collection. So now I have hand stitched everything, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this embellished. I decided to go ahead and use some of these washi strips and layer up a couple of those here as well, because why not? They are a part of the collection and they need to be used. And so I'm going to put one behind where the photo goes and one on the banner piece where the main title is resting. Going to adhere my photo down to the layout, and as you can see, it overlaps on that banner just a little bit. I cut a circle out of one of the pattern papers. I don't believe I showed that on camera, that particular piece, but it was in that pile. And there is my printed journaling. I used my Picturemate 400 to print it on just plain white cardstock. And I'm going to take these frames, and as you can see, I cut the flowers off all of the frames except for a few of the frames, and that way I have floral ephemera and not just a bunch of frames. Kind of fussing with this oval frame here. It's really not something that was on the original layout, but I thought that it made a good view or a good little piece there. So I've got my title down. I'm going to put some of these puffy hearts on here in a little bit, but I want to pull out these wood veneer letters or leafy bits first, not letters, leafy bits, so that I can tuck those underneath that pretty ephemera. Now I'm going to tuck a piece of the ephemera underneath my title. I'm going to add the heart that says "You're such a cutie" and two of the phrases from the chipboard piece. And then I'm just going to start tucking in these Freckled Fawn wood veneer. These wood veneer are very fragile, and as I was picking them up and handling them, they kept falling apart. So when I glue them, I'm going to have to glue them in separate little pieces. And that's okay. You can't tell once it's all done. These puffy stickers, I am going to just put a couple of them on here and there, kind of like I would with enamel dots, just to add a little bit more texture and color to the layout. Everything in this collection matches really well, so I just thought it was great to be able to add a couple of these hearts. Now, these hearts do not have good adhesive, and I will have to use my wet glue to glue them down. So I'm happy with the way it looks, and let's get it glued down. All right, I got this layout completely finished. Everything is glued down. I used only a little bit of foam adhesive underneath that top piece of ephemera just because it is overlapping that circle and the heart and journaling spot that I created in Canva. I used wet glue on those puffy hearts because they seem to have absolutely no adhesive at all once I took them off that plastic packaging. They're stuck on that, but once I laid them down, they just didn't stay on the paper at all. So definitely, if you have these in your stash, make sure that you use some wet glue, whatever your wet glue of choice is. I believe that I was using Barely Art glue. I typically prefer my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive or the Scotch tacky glue, whichever one I have. But I have that packed up to go hang out with my friend this week, so I'm using the other glue that's on my table. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. If you're new here, I would love to have you as a subscriber. This particular hop is hosted by me weekly. I have a tribe of Scraplift Crafternooners there's 11 of us now, and we each pick a layout, and we all scrap lift the same layout. So this is a hop that you will see most often, but I do put out 3 to 4 videos per week. Make sure that you check my description box below. There's a playlist. There's also a link to Tina's Instagram account where you can go and check out her wonderful work and leave her some love. I really hope that you have a great Sunday. Bye.